Good morning, family and friends. Thank God for another day. I was sitting in the kitchen this morning and I was reading my daily reflection that my sister sends out to the groups and sends out in groups every day. And today's was about guarding your mind, the battle of your mind, and what we all have lies that are in our mind. And I thought it was really relevant that I share this today because I always say we have to guard our mind. We have to. The Bible says it well. Stand guard of your mind, and, and it can't be said enough because it's the same with food. What we take in comes out. Me, for example, I try to take in things that will make me grow. I try to be around people that will make me grow. I know the results of taking in bad information. I know the results of not guarding the mind. They're costly. We're responsible for us. I mean, each individual is responsible for themselves. We're grown. That being said, guard your mind. It's the most valuable gift you have other than life in your family. Your mind. I always say man means mind. If you knew better, you do better. So you can't hold some people to certain standards because they don't know any better. They just let garbage filter into their mind. And I said before too that everything we read, books or whatever, it comes from the Bible, so it's all biblical. So when I got that text this morning, I said interesting because I did want to speak about the mind, but I want to speak about it in a belief sense, in a belief context about the power of belief. Where do your beliefs come from? And I did a class on this years back with men, and I asked them where they got their beliefs from, and I gave an example. I came into the group where the men were dressed 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 in proper attire. They said to me, "Why are you all dressed up for us?" I said, "See, that's my point. Your belief system. Where'd you get that belief from that you're any different than this person over here that you think I'm supposed to dress up for?" That's your belief system. Now you have to ask yourself, where did it come from? I was guilty of that too. But like I always say, as you learn, you grow, and you change. Goes back to again, guide your mind. What you take in, you it comes out. Like I said, like food, the waste comes out. I take in stuff like this. The power of focus. It's gonna come out. Awaken the giant within. Anthony Robbins. It's gonna come out. The 7 habits of highly effective people. It's gonna come out. Super self. It's gonna come out. Guide your mind. Whatever you put in there, it's gonna come out. The, thou shalt prosper. The 10 Commandments. It's gonna come out. You have you have a choice. It is funny, man. You could be or do whatever you want to be or do, based on what you put in. It doesn't have to be monetary immediately, or if that if that's not what you're after. I can give you an example of a book I read where Super Self, where it was the CEO. He was climbing the ladder to success, got all the way to the top, and came down, and his family was dead. Son, wife, everybody was dead. What he realized is what he said. His ladder was lined up against the wrong wall. So myself included, I gotta be very careful where my ladder's lined up, what my morals are, what my values are. There's people, and I've done this exercise as well. There's people, if you ask them what their values were, they couldn't even tell you. Hear me again, they couldn't even tell you. Values are the things, let's say, I'm gonna give you an example. Let's say you value your family. Okay. You value your family, but you're never there. You don't value your family. You're never there. That's a value. Value is the thing values are the things that you do and you gravitate towards. You value your mother, but you're never there for her. You don't value your mother. Values are the things you gravitate to. You gravitate you value having a roof over your head, but yet you slack off and don't go to work. You don't value. That's not a value. That's not something you value. What you value, that's what you go to. That's what you're drawn to. Those are values. The other things, those are things you like, but those aren't things you value. Again, if you think I'm making this up or whatever, just have a general conversation with somebody and ask them what their values are and what do values mean. Uh, uh, I love you. I value you. But yet, 5 minutes after you love and value her, you're hitting on this young lady on the corner. That's not value. That's not value. I just used that example to show you about in general terms about values and beliefs. And your belief system, what you believe, can take you a long way and take your family a long way. And I'm gonna try to stay on task. Guide your mind. It's about the mind. Guide your mind. What you put in, it's gonna come out. If you're standing on the block, hanging around, lusting at every young lady that comes by, that's gonna come out. That's gonna come out. If you're at work, every time they say there's overtime, you jumping on it. You saving 80% of what you make for the year. It's gonna come out. It's gonna come out. Guide your mind. Guide your mind. What are you taking in? That's why I say also be careful who you're around. It can't be stressed enough. I want to see you win. In the book of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, one of the 7 habits is a concept they call the win-win. I don't win if you don't win. I go for the win-win. I don't win if you don't win. That's a deal that everybody we both walk away from the negotiation tables satisfied, appreciated, valued. The win-win. I know you've heard people talk about it. Everything you see around me in my home is conducive to what I think. It's to what I want to put in my mind. I do not want to put mediocre in my mind, subpar in my mind. I practice excellence. If I fall short, I won't be too far from it. It all goes back to guide your mind, what you put in your mind, who you get your information from. You hear it said too, knowledge is power. What type of knowledge? Is your ladder lined up against the right wall? There's balance, checks and balances. Check. You have to know yourself. You have to know what makes you tick. You have to have the power of focus. I'm sitting here today telling you to wake up the giant within. He's in there. He's just waiting for you to tap into it by what you put into your mind, by the people you surround yourself with, by your discipline, by your belief system. To much is given, much is expected. The win-win. That's the win-win. I go for that. That's why. That's why you hear me say, I have go-to people. The win-win. I want them to win. They want me to win. That's what we do. We seek the win-win. There's no big me's and little you's in my circle. The win-win is the concept. I'm going to tell you something. A lot of times, when you're around people and you don't know them and you meet them for the first time and you're conscious of who you are and where you're going, they tell on themselves the minute they open their mouths. One book I read, it says you can tell the language of the poor. They speak with a scarcity mentality. They don't have the belief system. They have a scarcity mentality where there's a shortage. If you get it all, there's none left for me. Again, the belief system. Where'd you get that from? Who told you that? They say 95% of the population goes with the fads and the trend. 5% go on to do other things and live the life they want to live. Like I always tell you, it's about discipline. It's about hard work. It's about who you be around. Don't let nobody tell you nothing different.